So he got... So we're gonna face off with him now, right? What are you laughing about, you stupid bitch? Come on.
Yes! Yes! Such ferocity. Such tenacity. I am loath to recall how disappointed I was when first we fought. But finally, after bathing in the blood and offal of your enemies, finally you prove yourself worthy prey for the hunt.
Thanks, I guess. I will say this. I've said this throughout the whole thing. Zenos is like probably the best inclusion through Stormblood so far. He's actually a villain I like, kind of like a Darth Vader style villain, though a little obviously more energetic and I guess optimistic. But it's the same kind of concept. A really tough, powerful villain that actually backs up what he has to say. You know, it's not all down to his underlings. I like a villain like this. And he's unapologetically kind of fucked up, too, so that alone is also respectable. On the unapologetic nature of it, anyway.
It fills you even now, doesn't it? The hunger to bite down on my jugular. To feel the warmth fill your mouth and run over even as you drink deep. Good. Good. This is the beast I have longed to face.
No, I don't particularly want to... No, I'm not going to make that joke. I don't particularly want to bite down on your jugular. That's your fetish, my friend.
As you sharpen your claws, I too sought newfound strength. But this is no place for a final contest. Come! The heavens shall bear witness to our dance.
What? Hmm? Oh, shit. Yeah, I almost forgot about that thing.
Welcome to the Royal Menagerie. The King of Ruin built this place for his foreign queen. He kept it filled with familiar creatures from her homeland. They bored me all. This fine specimen, on the other hand, is simply divine. Your fates are entwined, are they not, Icon Slayer? This dragon, this embodiment of unbridled despair, born of a desperate man's burning hatred for the Empire.
So at least he knows that story.
How raw the raging tempest that churns within its breast. No myth made manifest this, but a being of pure violence. Mayhap you are the true architect of our design. You who fought the very soul of vengeance to the edge and watched him fall. You who let slip the Allegan hound to drive this icon into my arms. Oh my, have I said too much? Forgive me, this sensation is wholly unfamiliar to me.
I am not going to inquire what he means by sensation. I suppose this is what happens when you have a genius constantly outclassing everyone else and deprived of proper mental stimulation. Yes, perhaps. Whatever the case,
A question,
he's nuts.
and I should like very much for you to speak from the heart. If I were to stand aside, what would you do to this icon?
Kill it. If I could, I'd kill it. Right there. Kill it, bind it. I'd kill it. Hell no, we're gonna bind it.
Ah, as simple as that. But of course, you are the Icon Slayer. Such certainty is to be expected. A pity. There is another alternative. Or there would be. Had you only mastered your ability. I speak of the Echo, of course. Does it merely render you immune to iconic influence, or is it rather that your influence is far greater than theirs? Granted, these implications are of no moment to a savage who thinks only of killing the beast before him.
I don't... well, that's an interesting concept to throw out there. Controlling an icon or controlling a primal. But it's also not a good idea. Like, they're beasts of imagination and emotion made manifest. Everything about them is so it's one of those things where you gotta ask yourself, what kind of control? And also, controlling a beast of that magnitude... Wouldn't that require constant focus to keep them under control, even with the Echo? I don't know, that presents a lot of questions. It's interesting, but I think it's better to just rid the world of the beast rather than worry about maintaining control over it.
But when I read Van Belsar's reports, I immediately saw the boundless potential of the Echo. I saw how it could be instrumental in binding an icon to one's will. Hence my research and the Resonant. And there was so much more. All icons must be exterminated without exception. Such was the Imperial mandate issued by my great-grandfather, after he saw firsthand the destruction wrought by one such being. They are a blight upon this star, he felt. And so he began his great and just crusade. Ha! 'Twas not justice which spurred his campaign, but fear! Fear of the Icons! Fear of their power! Cowardice made them march forth to battle. Pathetic. Man should fight for the joy of it. To live, to eat, to breed. Lesser beasts snap and howl at one another for this. Only man has the wisdom and the clarity to embrace violence for its own sake. For we who are born into this merciless, meaningless
Credit to the animators for the facial animations here.
of life to burn.
He is truly nuts. He is truly insane.
I know you understand this. You and I are one and the same.
Oh, that's so cliche.
Together, we could while away the quiet hours as friend and confidant. If you will accept me.
This is, okay, this part right here. The rest of it, pretty unique. This right here is such a cliche villain thing to say, isn't it? You're not so different, you and I. There are so many villains who have said that in so many franchises. It's such a cliche line. Oh my fucking god. Even offering hands in friendship. We could be friends and confidants. Well, if only you would accept me. It's like, you're insane! Oh, God. I was taking it super seriously up to that point, but really? Come on, dude. The most cliche villain line of all time. Really? What? Still proves my point of Zenos being a mirror to the player. I don't know if it proves it. It hits it. It doesn't refute it or prove it. I don't think. It's just again, it's just a cliche villain thing to do. Like, you're not so different, you and I. That's his twisted interpretation of everything. As it is earlier, he thought we wanted to jump on him and bite into his jugular. Not particularly. I wouldn't use the ramblings of a madman to prove your point, Shintork. Alright, I accept you, I deny you. I know, I kind of want to click accept you just to see what happens, but... I don't know, does that... Question. Don't tell me what happens, but tell me. Does the choice here actually affect anything? Or does it end up resulting more or less into the same thing? Just tell me that flat out. Alright, so I'll just say I deny you then if it just results in no differences.
And yet, in doing so, you prove me right. We are warriors. It was plain from the first how this would end.
In a fight to the death where hopefully you lose.
Live for these moments when all hangs in a balance, when the difference between life and death is but a single stroke. I live for them too. This is who we are, my friend. This is all we are. Alamigo and Doma and Golemol be damned!
Oh, come on. Wasn't this supposed to be a fight between you and me? Oh, now it's a fight that includes this guy. Oh boy.
We tower above the gods. You by your gift, I by my might.
Oh, okay. I probably should have put that together. Yeah, he did the experiment on himself.
Gods shall be made to heal.
Great.
An ending to mark a new beginning.
What? I thought you said you wanted to control the thing, not merge with it. No bird must be rolling in his cell in the Seven Hills. Probably. It's like, ah, fuck, that backfired! No shit! Ah, great. Another wait. Alright. Let's queue up for this one. How would Samurai have changed that? If I switch to Samurai now, will it change anything else? Or does it not matter at this point? It wouldn't? Okay. I'll just stay playing Dark Knight then. Ah, I did so bad. That was like legendarily bad. I genuinely feel bad. That was embarrassing. And it doesn't even I can't even use the excuse it was the first time I ran that, because I'm sure there were quite a few other people there who that was their first time running that. And I think I was the only one other than maybe one DPS who died the whole time, and I died multiple times. That is just bad.
Are you all right?
No, my pride has taken quite the sniper shot to the skull.
Zenos.
The hunter has indeed become the hunted. And yet, there is only joy. Transcendent joy that I have never known. How invigorating, how pure this feeling.
Is that what this was all about? All the meaningless death and destruction, so you could feel something?
I mean, so most psychopaths, that's why most psychopaths do what they do. Want to be able to feel something.
Those who survive are stronger for it. Not that you could ever understand. To have stood upon this great stage of fools. To have played my part to perfection. Oh, this moment. Let it be enshrined in eternity. My heart beating out of time. So clear, so vivid, so real. So real. Coward!
Stop!
Farewell, my first friend. My enemy.
Of course, I can't show anything, but yeesh.
Where is he?
Currently, he's a cadaver. You know, his body's taking up some real estate on the grass over there.
Is dead. By his own hand.
And justice has been done.
I'll save what I have to say after this.
No. There's no justice in that rabid animal's end.
Liberty or death. That so many should be forced to take up this creed to defeat such madness.
We won. Forget him. The living have need of us now.
Stand tall, Lys. Now is the time to raise a cheer for all who fought for freedom. A cheer loud enough to carry to the highest heavens.
You're right. Thank you. Without you... well, you know.
The standard affair. Without
So
me,
let's
y'all
do
would
it
have died.
together. For Alamigo!
Victory! Ah, two favorite ninjas. This is a crazy expansion. Not in a bad way, like, it was crazy in the right ways. It was... I'm liking this ending so far. I'm curious how it's going to wrap up fully, though. Usually there's a cliffhanger.
In crimson it began, and in crimson it ended. And then we were free.
Damn. Oh, damn. Oh. Whew. Alright, let me,
But what is freedom, really?
It's a lot to break down. Okay. Surprised she lived. I'm not sure it's over yet, so... I want to give it another second, just in case there's more...
We may be free to live, to love, to grow old, to have dreams and desires, and to strive for them.
But in the end, we're defined by the legacy our forefathers bequeathed to us. Even Zenos was once a baby in the cradle, innocent and pure. He was made into a creature that lived only for death, not born one. 20 years of Imperial rule have left Ala Mhigo torn and bleeding. It won't be easy to heal a generation's worth of wounds, to bridge the gap. But I won't give up, Papalymo. I won't.
Okay, that's nice. I'm glad she... That's kind of a note to Papalymo. Okay, I think that's official credits roll. Nope. Hold on. I know. You want my take. I don't want to miss anything. So I'm paying attention. The suspense is killing you, I'm sure.
I remember the smoke, and the ashes, and the blood. I remember the screams, and the silence. And I'll do whatever it takes to honor their sacrifice, to build a home for us all. I promise you. This is the end. The end of the Imperial province of Ala Mhigo, and the rebirth of Ala Mhigo, the free nation. Long may she endure.
Alright, now. Sounds it. Okay. I'm waiting to see the credits. There it is, okay. Okay, so I've had a second to process. So the Zenos ending. First thing to note, I wasn't, you probably could tell, I wasn't actually surprised. The part that shocked me was definitely the go for suicide. But I did actually think he was going to die, so I wasn't surprised by the death coming. The surprise was the suicide. When it comes to the character of Zenos, I've been pretty consistent with my take on Zenos as a character. I liked him as a villain. He was a villain that he respected meritocracy. He respected earning your position, and he also liked handling situations on your own. He removed people he saw as... Basically, a great comparison is between himself and Darth Vader. Where that kind of completely... Where he really came into his own was actually towards the end there. Because up to that end there, we really only saw that side of Zenos. We only really saw that unique side of him towards the end, where he really revealed that he truly wanted. Throughout the whole thing, it's been hinted at and built it up to that he was searching for a true opponent, one that could defeat him, one that could bring him to the brink where he has never been brought before. He has always been the strongest. He has always been the most powerful. He's always been the most effective out of anyone he's ever encountered around him. He is an effective combatant and a true warrior in certain senses. He was evil. He was malicious. He was filled with malice. But the core base build of who he was as a character never really changed throughout his development, and I kind of like that. There was a level of consistency, and the stuff that they introduced towards the end there, with wanting to control the icon, wanting to use its power to make himself more powerful. A part of that actually, I thought almost was, and when briefly when he was talking about it, it felt actually kind of out of character, because up till that point, he always came off to me as a character that was entirely entirely self-reliant, and someone who saw himself as the ultimate bane of power. And even through his speech, he still upheld that, despite the fact that he merged himself with an icon for more power, which that in itself, when I initially was thinking about it, felt very off for Zenos' character. For me, it was like, that's a moment where he relied on another creature, another entity for a source of power, which felt out of character based on everything else we've seen about him. But as I've thought about it through that ending sequence there, and as I kind of processed it, a part of it does make sense, because the very act of being able to control an icon, the very act of being able to mutate himself to do that, in a way, was actually a personal strength. The ability to do that, he was, in a way, making himself stronger, sharpening his fangs as he saw it. So it really wasn't as out of character as I initially felt it was. Hey Moon, hey Double A, what's up? So that I liked. What the suicide part, the part of that, I was expecting him to die, and I actually kind of was expecting him to be, in a way, at his own hand. I wasn't expecting him to cut his throat. The specific act of it was surprising, but I wasn't actually surprised by the death. I kind of saw it coming. Especially when he coughed up blood. I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely about to die. But he took his own life, which in a sense, I expected. I wasn't again, I could not have predicted how. I was kind of expecting a warrior's death at his own hands, though. So when it comes to the end there, I think, I don't know who said it earlier. I think someone mentioned something about redemption for the character. I don't know. I definitely don't think he redeemed himself. I think he just revealed a little bit more about himself. It doesn't justify or loosen anything else about his actions, or about the things that he's committed to, or about anything like that. I think with Zenos, I think that in the end, despite everything, and yes, there was kind of that romanticism about the dichotomy between our character and him, and he saw us as his one and only friend before the end, which, for me, I would have liked it if we had him for another expansion, like 2 expansions with Zenos as the main bad guy. That way we could actually, because 1 expansion didn't feel like enough to really do, especially we only interacted with him directly 2 or 3 times before this final battle, which isn't a lot to establish that connection, that integral connection. I think that just like with the expansion as a whole, certain things felt kind of, not rushed is a cruel way to put it, felt at a pace that they shouldn't have been. Like, things got pushed along and dragged along much faster than they should have been. I really feel that for us to have earned that moment with Zenos, maybe not a whole nother expansion, to be fair, maybe just keep him alive towards the end of the next post-patches, give us even more of that back and forth between the two of us, to really build that actual ideal of that connection, I guess, that dichotomy between our character and his. I would have preferred longer for it. With how much we got, it felt like it happened too soon, I guess is the best way to put it. I think it happened too soon. But overall, outside of Zenos' character, the overall expansion of Stormblood has been an absolute fucking ride. I have enjoyed every minute of it. It's been a lot of fun. Like I've said the last couple of streams, there have been moments where it's dragged. I can definitely see where it doesn't quite match up to the experience of Heaven's Ward. But to say that it is a bad expansion, or that it is a slow one, or that it is to a degree, it is slower, it is a little bit more poorly paced than Heaven's Ward. But I think what exacerbates that of Stormblood, I think what actually makes that feel more to the forefront of a problem is because it's following up a nearly perfectly paced story like Heavensward and the Dragonsong War arc of the post Heavensward patches. I think that those were so nearly perfectly paced and so well done that it only highlights the parts that dragged in Stormblood. Whereas if we were coming off of A Realm Reborn into Stormblood, I feel like nobody would even really acknowledge some of the pacing issues and some of the plot whiplash, because it wouldn't be as it wouldn't be as easy to see, again, coming off of something as great and as fantastic as Heavensward was. So overall, though, I would say that this expansion was still one hell of a fantastic ride. I loved pretty much every moment of it. The story was very engaging. The characters very good. I've already said my piece about Lise before. Lise, definitely, we should have had more moments directly relating to her previously before this expansion to really earn that highlight, like that spotlight part in this expansion. But they did their best that they could with the development that they had to really bring her into her own towards the end there. And though it feels, again, just as it was with Zenos, like we just didn't have enough time to really get that earned payoff and that earned spotlight for her, they still did the best that they could to really feel like she earned the spot, feel like she was developing as a character. And though throughout the whole thing it didn't feel like she changed too much, at the same time she wasn't at a place as a character before this expansion where I really felt the need to change her, where there was aspects about herself that absolutely needed improvement. Outside of her immature kind of, how do you put it, her reactionary kind of way of thinking and way of interacting with the world as it is now, that needed to kind of grow out of. She needed to, I guess the best way to phrase it is she needed to grow patience, and I think that would have been good if they had introduced that a little bit with, especially with Conrad and how he went out. I think it would have been good for her to kind of pick up a little bit of that. I didn't really feel like she did. I feel like she pretty much didn't pick up or lose or gain any patience as a person. I feel like she, in terms of character evolution, I didn't feel like she got that much, and that would definitely be preferred to have that brought back in, but again, there could be some of that in the post-Stormblood expansions. There might be some more of that growth. She's still got room to grow as a character, still got room to change as a character, and for the most part, throughout the expansion, she still got some level of slight change. Again, it feels like something that needed to be... It's kind of like a sword that's only halfway forged. That's kind of how it feels like to me. Like they with her character, they were working at it. They were hammering at the heated metal. They were folding it. They were trying to craft it, but they kind of just stopped right after they had the raw blade. But they didn't sharpen it. They didn't make the pommel, the hilt. They didn't finish the overall process. They just got the raw blade ready. But they didn't sharpen it. It's tempered. It's ready to go. But they just cut it off before they really felt like they finished. So that's the best way I know how to. That's the best analogy I know how to phrase that. All in all, though, again, great expansion. And to do my stereotypical comparison to WoW, this expansion is better than anything WoW has done since Wrath of the Lich King. And cinematically, Final Fantasy XIV Online, even in A Realm Reborn, did better cinematic work than anything Blizzard has ever done. So, voice acting was fantastic, dialogue great, very engaging story, and again, lots of great moments and battles. And even though I agree with the sentiment that there is a bit of a, I guess, a thematic or vibe whiplash between the Alamigo locations and Doma, in the Doma locations. Both of those really are super different, and also the storylines that go on are similar, but it's something about like the vibes of the two locales and the stories that go on in them that really felt sharply switched from one another, and in a way they're supposed to. The cultures are supposed to be very different, supposed to catch your eye very differently, so it makes sense why there's a bit of whiplash there. But at the same time, I would have preferred less of that. But again, I know I'm right now. What I'm doing is I'm throwing out my nitpicks right now. I still stand by that it's an amazing expansion, but I feel that I do with all the good things I'm going to say. I think it's also good to also provide the things I think didn't measure up, or didn't measure up. The things that needed a little bit more words. Just needed more TLC. Just needed more TLC. That's all. I don't know. I don't want to say the expansion's rushed, because in a way it's not. Something's dragged after all. But certain things in it also kind of do feel like they were dragged. It's kind of. I don't know. I guess without continuing my word salad, I'd just say it was a great expansion. It was really fantastic. I'm eager to see what the next patches are going to do, and we are going to start those today. We're only 2 hours into the stream, and I'm not, as I said at the beginning of the stream, as I'm doing things right now, every other day is a dedicated content creation day, while every other day from that is dedicated to developing Warglaive, the tabletop war game, and miniatures I'm designing. So, though hopefully you guys won't feel like you're only getting content every other day, because on the days that I'm dedicating to content creation, yes, I'm live streaming most of the day, but the parts I'm not live streaming, I'm not going to be working on the Warglaive, so I'm going to be working on videos. I'm going to hopefully take snippets out of the streams and start breaking those down, which hopefully that'll actually start processing itself, but I'm going to start doing that. I'm also going to start, again, recording Near Replicant again and editing that together and hopefully uploading that the following day, or scheduling it to be uploaded for the following day. That way I still have that whole day to work on Warglaive, but you guys will still get some content every single day. Hopefully that'll be how it works, and that's how I'm picturing it, but we'll see how it actually happens in practice. It might be, it's one of those cases where it's going to be a little bit of, words. Trial and error. It's going to be a little bit of trial and error. I don't think it was about a warrior's death. It was more a case of him feeling something for the first time in forever, and he chose to die with heart and feeling rather than prisoned, hollow, and empty. I don't disagree with that. I think it's both. I think it was partly about a warrior's death, and I would say that is a warrior's death, actually. Because your idea of a warrior's death might be different, but that's my idea of a warrior's death. Is you're in that moment of a high, you're in that moment of adrenaline, you're in that moment of this is my epitaph, this is my climax of my story and the climax of who I am. This is the penultimate existence I am in, and I want to go out feeling this. That is a warrior's death, I would say. And I think what you're thinking of, and what I would call what you're thinking of as a warrior's death, and what I would call just an honorable death, is going out respectfully, fighting the good fight, that kind of thing. But a warrior's death, like what I would actually call a warrior's death, outside of an honorable death, is again that penultimate fighter, that warrior on the battle line, fighting against the odds and facing an enemy worthy of their own standing, and going out in the best way they possibly can. And in that high. Not always. I don't usually picture it as a suicide, but I do picture it as that same kind of ideal. So I think you're just simply. I think you just simply have a different idea of what I would call a warrior's death. So I see them as one and the same, is the best way to put it. Hey, Hyper Night Parade, hey Draw, how you doing? Congrats, thanks. What did you think about the trial bosses in comparison to Heavenward 1? The trials. I would say the trial bosses were good. They were pretty solid. I like some of the mechanics. I think there was, if I'm recalling all of them correctly, there was a lot of mechanics in Stormblood, a lot. And I'm not saying there weren't in Heavensward. The difference is the type of mechanics. There was a lot of area of effect and like ground highlight style trial bosses in Stormblood. A lot of them, nearly all of them, had mechanics like that to a degree. Some that even covered nearly the whole battlefield. Which is good, and I still like them. It's just, in Heavensward, I felt like there was less of that, and sometimes just kind of status effects and things that you did a little bit more often. There were still like those ground mechanic effects there always in every boss, but I felt like there were not less, but I felt like there were more. I felt like there were more bosses in Heavensward and more trial bosses in Heavensward that didn't overuse those as much. Like, I felt like they used a fair amount of the area of effect and ground effect mechanics, as well as they did, like, debuffs and buffs, and also kind of, like, creative attacks. Whereas here, it was a lot of the bosses had a lot of highlight about those ground area of effect attacks. I could be remembering incorrectly. I'd have to like really like go through one to one. But I would say like that's like the only critique I have of it. Overall, I would say the actual like boss to boss fights have been very comparable. I'd say the encounter design in Stormblood is virtually identical. In the right ways. In quality. Is virtually identical in quality to Heavensward. I would say that. I would say that they are very, very comparable, and if you took out the aesthetic of the boss and the aesthetic of the scenery and just kind of meshed them, you wouldn't really feel a massive difference. Except, again, there felt like a lot more of the area of effect, ground effect mechanics. Outside of that, it would be more or less the same. Said this before, but one thing Stormblood does better than Heavensward are the raids and trials and instances in the MSQs. Yeah, I would say, again, based on the trials I've done, they're about even. I wouldn't say they're better, at least in my opinion. I wouldn't really put them on a pedestal above Heavensward. I'd put them comparable. I'd say they're about on the same level. They're different. Again, I think there's more ground mechanics, a lot more AoE with the Stormblood bosses than there are with Heavensward, but outside of that, a lot of things are comparable. A lot of things can be kind of evened out and compared to like an even level. I personally wouldn't put them above Heavensward. I'd say on par. Agree, Susanoo is one of my faves in the game, not because it's hard, it's just really fun. Yeah. You get my B-Day gift from Mail Moogle, by the way? No, this is the first time I've been able to log into the game for days. I will check that out, though, while you're here, if you want. Super busy schedule. I appreciate that, by the way. I still haven't checked it out. I'll just wait till the Four Lords side quest ones. Okay. The Four Lords optional trials for Stormblood are really cool. I'll have to check those out. Those might shift my opinion. But based on the trial bosses I've fought thus far, based on the dungeons I've done thus far, based on all the encounters I've been put up against so far in Stormblood, I would say they're comparable with Heavensward. Not better, certainly not worse. On par. On par. That would be my personal thing. Oh, after credit scene. Oh. Astinian, my boy!
Well, well, well. What a fine mess we've made.
That's one way to put it. Oh yeah, the eyes.
All but spent feeding that primal, eh? Well, you won't be making any mischief with that amount of ether.
I'd still dispose of them.
Still, better safe than sorry.
Thank you. Finally, get rid of these fucking things. That's my boy. That's my boy.
There. There ends your hateful legacy.
Hopefully. Nidhogg's eyes have been one hell of MacGuffins. McMuffins. Oh my god. Okay, kind of ended. Okay, if that was the post-credit scene, kind of. Okay, here we go. I was about to say it ended on a. It was gonna end on a non cliffhanger. It's over. My condolences for your loss. A father should not outlive his son. What nonsense. You do not mourn his loss? Courses this bastard. You surprised me, your radiance. He was your son and heir. An irreplaceable test subject. I know what he was. Monsters are not made for thrones. Yeesh. Nor are stars made to sustain false gods, who sup on their... Oh, that's still him. Nor are stars made to sustain false gods, who sup on their very essence. Icons summoned by desperate savages who hearken to the whispers of shadowless charlatans. Should you raise a hand against my black-robed brethren, I will not stop you. Our desires are one and the same. Preservation, restoration. Compression, resurrection. All is in service to your one true God. And when the sundered shards are made whole, will there be a place for us mere mortals? Doubt my claims and question my motives if you will, your radiance. You will come to trust me in time. Until then, mayhap you will find this reassuring. How dare you! Clearly he didn't find it reassuring. Huh. Yeah, so I'm on my way through. Almost done. Oh.
We've been through a lot together, haven't we? I can't thank you enough.
I can't thank you enough either, my dear.
There's something I need to say to you all. That is, if you have a moment.
I mean, we're here, so I'd assume so.
Good. You're all here. Good. Good.
I'll spacebar this.
Thank you doesn't really suffice, does it? I'm grateful. Truly grateful from the bottom of my heart. But I know you didn't fight so hard just to hear me or anyone else say that. You fought because you wanted to help, because you believed it was right, because you're scions. Now, I'm obviously a scion, but as Conrad left me in charge of things here, I also have responsibilities to Alamigo. When I put it like that, though, I realized I couldn't even pretend to be impartial anymore. So it seemed best to make it official.
She's leaving the party.
As long as I serve Alamigo, I can't be a scion. It might be selfish and short-sighted, but that's my decision.
I wouldn't really call it selfish or short-sighted, though.
Am I to understand that you summoned us all, some of us still nursing wounds, to hear this?
Oh, I didn't,
Forgive me, Lise. 'Twas but a jest.
I mean, I kind of figured this was going to be the result.
But this I say with the utmost sincerity. Scion or no, we are comrades, now and ever after.
Indeed we are. Can't get rid of us. Can't get rid of us that easily. Watch. Once we pan away from Urianger, he's gonna disappear. Pull a Batman. Batman Urianger.
There you have it. Come what may, you may count on us in your hour of need. We shall never refuse you.
Oh, gods. I swore I wouldn't cry.
Well, clearly, you owe the gods a little bit because you failed your oath not to cry. Yeah, it's not like we won't see her again. Yeah, for the future of Alamigo, I could see them formulating like a republic or a council of some kind leading the way. Yeah, hell, maybe she could be on it. He's a fat boy.
Come back here, you slippery little devil. Ah, to think fishing could be so difficult.
He's alive? Or is this like heaven or something?
What greater proof of a man's
Question mark my ass.
than an empty belly? A fate worse than death. Fie on it. You have arrived at the appointed place and time only to survive by mere force of habit. Truly, the Kami are not finished with us yet. Oh, capricious fortune. How you test me with this wretched soul.
How did you I'm not complaining, but how did you survive? She's alive too. Oh, fuck this. At least spare me her survival. Can't we have the good without the bad? Wait, they washed out. Holy shit. That ain't good. Oh, no one ever dies my ass. We've had several people die in this. Unless Moon Breeder is gonna show up out of fucking nowhere. And be like, hey guys, I was just off screen for a few minutes. Oh, crap. And since there is undeniably something down there, radiating a massive amount of energy, which cannot very well be the late Viceroy's lap dragon, yes, I think we have our suspect. You know, Hashafon isn't gonna pop out of the ground and say, hey, what's up, guys? I just thought I'd, take a dirt nap for a few minutes. I'm fine. My ass, nobody dies in this. Well, this is a mess of our own making, so it falls to us to clean it up. It won't be easy. I just noticed this. All the raids directly relate to Sid. Alexander raids, the Omega raids. Okay. And now comes the part where you say you've got no choice but to divert company resources and employees to this pet project of yours. Lost profits and belligerent clients be damned. Financial considerations notwithstanding, you have to admit there is an unquantifiable benefit in giving our people the opportunity to study such advanced technology. Oh? Is that before or after you blow it up or seal it away? Fine, fine. But the moment I judge this little venture an unsustainable risk to the ironworks, I'm ending it. Savvy? Wait, is she in charge? I thought he was in charge. Wait, didn't he start the ironworks? No, okay. I guess I missed something. Or forgot something. And to keep you honest, using my authority as deputy president, I've gone ahead and brought in a consultant. A master engineer and mechanical genius. And who would that be? You didn't. Nero? Don't wave happily! What? Is it Nero? Come now, you mustn't build your expectations too high. It will be less dramatic when I surpass them. Oh no. Absolutely not. This is not happening. Really? Sunglasses? Nero Tolskeva, eager to begin his first day as a loyal member of the Ironworks team. Looking forward to working with you, Garland. Need I point out that this man, on several occasions, he's been our enemy, openly. He's openly tried to betray us at the Crystal Tower. He's been an overall dick through everything. During the Omega stuff, I don't think he veiled very well his intentions there. So what? Why the fuck did she hire this guy? He's clearly up to no good. What? Don't you clap. Does she not know? So fell the hunter, but what of the hound? So rose the children, but what? Fuck, I couldn't read that. Went by too fast. But what of the father? Okay. Good thing I got the little preview there of that little stream delay. Remember to leave a like and subscribe.